makeup friends, I am all set up to talk about new releases. I've got wine in one hand and the list of items in the other. Let's do this. As always, I want to start off by welcoming you back to my channel, or if you are new here, then hello and welcome. My name is Kara, and on my channel we like to mix beauty, brains, and the occasional F-bomb, although, if I'm being perfectly honest, those F-bombs do tend to flow a little bit more freely in these new release videos. Probably won't be as bad as last week, but I make no promises. We're very early on into the video. Who knows what's going to happen? On my eyes today, I have the BFF palette from BH Cosmetics. On my lips, I have a mix of two lipsticks. One is from Gucci, and it is Agatha Orange. And this was one of the limited edition releases around holiday. So while Agatha Orange is part of their existing permanent line, this one has a bit of sparkle to it. So that, I think, is the only difference between the two. I don't own the original one. But then I've also topped it with another lipstick here, this one from Natasha Denona, and this one is in the shade 30NP Maria. Okay, with all of that out of the way, let's get into the new releases, and as usual, I'm going to do them in a ranking style, moving from the items that I am the least interested in to the items that I am the most interested in. So, starting us off today with the dubious honor of being the item I am the least bit interested in, it's a palette coming from an indie brand that I am not familiar with. This is Amy Cosmetics and their Survivors palette. Okay, so at first glance, colors look vibrant and fun. If you are a more creative type and you don't mind glitters, this might be up your alley. The problem that I have with this are the shade names. So keeping in mind this is the Survivors palette, and frankly I think the outside artwork looks really pretty and enticing, but it's meant to honor those who have survived various different challenges. Let me give you some examples of the challenges that they have decided to use as shade names. So we have diabetes, we have endometriosis, we have epilepsy, depression, childhood cancer, lymphoma, breast cancer, suicide, and let's just end it with child abuse. Now, from a YouTuber perspective, there is no way I am ever going to do a tutorial in which I say, first of all, I'm going to go ahead and blend child abuse into my crease and then pat cancer all over my eyelids. I'm intensely uncomfortable at that idea, and frankly, seeing all of these issues, I don't know the proper word to describe them, but seeing all these things that one can potentially survive, I'll come back to that, all set out in a palette like this, it honestly looks like satire to me. It does not look like it is embracing or empowering those who have survived any of these horrific diseases or experiences. And it just, in looking at these, it doesn't bring to mind that imagery or the feeling that I get when I hear the word survivor. Survivor in and of itself is a very powerful word, but breaking it down to diabetes or cervical cancer, just hearing those terms on their own doesn't really fill me with the same kind of emotion or reaction that I suspect the brand was hoping for. Now, I did say that some of these are things that you can potentially survive, but for example, this yellow shade called Suicide, by definition, suicide is a completed act. You could survive an attempt, but by the very definition of what suicide is, you can't survive that act. So there's just a little bit of a semantic issue in there. And then also things like depression and diabetes. I don't know that most people ever necessarily survive them. They learn to live with them. You can treat it, but it never really goes away. So in that sense, granted, okay, so for depression, sometimes, depending on the nature of the depression, it can be situationally based or it can be experientially based. I get that, but let's just talk about type 1 diabetes, just to be as uncontroversial as possible. You don't survive type 1 diabetes. You treat it, you manage it, and you live with it. So even in that, there's a little bit of a disconnect between what it is that the idea or the intention behind the palette is and how it actually plays out, practically speaking. So what I did is I went ahead and I named out 15 alternate shade names that I think more embrace and embody this idea of survivor. So for the sake of just being me, let me go through and read them. We have courage, we've got strength, fighter, hope, determination, resilience, survivor, bravery, moxie, power, toughness, endurance, persistence, healing, and honestly, in the face of some of these other ones, I think fuck you would be an appropriate shade name, because a lot of times when we're faced with this kind of adversity, that's kind of the frame of mind that we need to adopt in order to survive these things. So those are just some alternate ideas that I think probably would have jived a little bit better. I don't really know what's going on with this palette, to be honest. When I went to the Amy Lee Cosmetics Instagram page, there is no mention of it. Hey guys, editing me. So it looks to me like they have removed any post regarding this palette, even people that I had seen post pictures of it in, like they'd received it in PR or whatever. Those are no longer showing up on Instagram. And the brand owner has issued a statement on her Instagram page as well. So I'm just going to include that so that you can take a look. So what are your thoughts on this? I would like to have a little conversation on this. I'm not necessarily fired up, but I just think they woefully missed the mark. It just seems to me like the idea just like popped into their mind and they threw some names out there and called it a day. I don't think they really explored or fleshed out the idea and the intention behind the palette, so I just think they really, really missed the mark on this one. So next up is the Pout Spoken Lip Collection from Jaclyn Cosmetics. This is going to be a collection of 15 different liquid lipstick shades. They're going to retail for $20 each, and they're going to be available on March 18th. There are also 12 lip liners available, and they are going to be $18 each. These are all very neutral nude shades, frankly on brand for Jaclyn Hill. I think it's really smart to do liquid lipsticks in the day and age of wearing masks everywhere. Liquid lipstick is kind of the way to go if you don't want it transferring off all over the inside of your mask. The shades themselves look nice. I'm just not interested. I'm just not. I'm beyond being like pissy with Jaclyn. Like I'm really not coming from that perspective. I just genuinely have no interest in her line. It's not even that I'm actively disliking it or that I'm just, stick my middle finger up just because it's her name. I just don't care. I just don't. It just doesn't hit on my radar. So while the shades look pretty, they also look like a myriad other brands' liquid lipsticks. So there's really nothing all that exciting about it. I'm interested to hear people's reviews only from the perspective of seeing how these land versus how her initial lipsticks land. But for me, I'm not going to be signing up to get notifications on these. I am not going to be hopping over to her website and trying to get my hands on them. They will probably eventually come to Ulta because her line is now carried at Ulta, but I'm here in Canada and Ulta has, for some reason, put us on embargo, so they won't ship to us, and the stores that we were supposed to get are put on hold indefinitely, so I don't care that they're in Ulta. Yeah. Otherwise, I don't know. I'm not actively against it. This just falls under my ranking of what am I the least interested in. Here's a prime example. Next up is the I Am a Woman palette from Ciate London. This is going to retail for £39 on the Ciate London website. For the life of me, I don't know what that translates to in Canadian. Probably just shy of $80 would be my guess, somewhere in the $70 range. So this is a 24 pan eyeshadow palette. It's inspired by and a tribute to the forward-thinking, powerful, and inspiring women across history. So I mean, there's nothing that I take offense to. Looking at the names just from some of the close-ups that they have here, I see Cleopatra, I see Ruth Bader Ginsburg, I see Ella Fitzgerald, and I take no issue with that. I really don't take any issue with the color story either, although it just looks bland, to be honest, and frankly it reminds me of Huda Beauty and the new nude palette that she put out ages ago. So 24 pan shadows and not my cup of tea. I much prefer a smaller, more curated collection of shades. I don't find anything offensive about this, and in fact these are the kind of shades that I would gravitate towards on a daily basis, but this palette fills absolutely no void in my collection, and I'm just not interested enough in Ciate anyways to be like, well, at least I want to try their formula and see how it goes. I just rarely hear anybody ever talk about Ciate, so I have absolutely no idea what the expectations are regarding their eyeshadow formula. I have no idea if it's a good formula or not. I don't know. But I'm also not curious enough to pay roughly $70 Canadian to find out. So, well, again, this falls under that category of like, I don't hate it, but I'm not going to buy it. So there's that. Oh God. If you have been watching my videos for any amount of time, you know the struggles that I have trying to say Tarte Shape Tape. I have to struggle and like practice it in my head before I say it, because inevitably it comes out as Shark Tape. It's a defect. I can't not say it. So for that reason alone, I don't want to buy this, because I can just tell what my review is going to be, and it's going to be a whole lot of Shart. And nobody wants that. At any rate, Tarte is releasing a new concealer, and this is going to be the Shape Tape Ultra Creamy Concealer. It's the iconic, even though I'm reading it, I still want to say Shart Tape. It's ridiculous. Our iconic Shape Tape Concealer, now with a built-in eye cream for 24-hour hydration. It's full coverage, natural, moisturizing matte finish, leaves skin looking hydrated, never dry or flat. It also claims to be waterproof and offer 12 hours of crease-proof wear. It's going to be available in 2 different sizes, with the full size retailing for $27 US. Travel size will be $10, and it's going to be available on the Tarte website. When? I don't know. It says it's launched, so I'm guessing it's available now. So, I enjoyed the Shape Tape when I had it, but something about the words ultra creamy just make me very hesitant. So even though it claims to be crease proof for up to 12 hours, just that idea of ultra creamy, that it doesn't jive to me. So this is a product that I would definitely want to see reviews before I go out and spend my money on it, because let's be honest, let's see, what was it? 27 US is going to be closer towards $40 Canadian, and that's a lot to put out for a concealer when I have some really banging concealers in my collection, one of which costs less than $6 from The Ordinary, and it's fantastic. So I'm not really on the hunt for another full coverage concealer, because I have found some that work really well for me. I'm interested in hearing reviews on this, but I'm not going to be purchasing it to be one of those initial reviewers. I want to hear other people's thoughts and how it actually plays out, and then I might consider buying it. But honestly, we're going to have to come up with some sort of code name for it, because I cannot, for the next like 2 years that it takes me to finish this thing out, because if it's anything like the original, a little's going to go a long way. For 2 years, I cannot be stumbling over the word Shark Tape. I just can't do it. All right, now let's take a look at a palette that I think is stunning, and I think it's beautiful, but I know I'm not going to get a ton of use out of it, and that's why I'm ranking it as low as I am. And it's coming from STYLCosmetics. Wow, I stumbled so hard over that. STYLCosmetics, they are introducing their Going Green palette, which is dedicated to nature enthusiasts all around the world. It's made with recyclable cardboard packaging, as well as glitters that are specially formulated with an ultra sparkly mineral glitter that makes them biodegradable. Aside from just the packaging and the ingredients being environmentally friendly, part of the proceeds of sale from this palette is also going to go to the Environmental Defense Fund. I don't know what the retail price on it is. It's not included in the post, but I do know that it is currently available. So I think it looks beautiful. I love a good green eyeshadow, and I love like color stories in a palette, like a nice curated color collection. I think this is stunning. I would not get a ton of use out of it. But just aesthetically speaking, this is gorgeous. I think it's beautiful. The more I look at it, the more I want it. I know I wouldn't use it very often though. This, again, I say it in every one of these videos. If I didn't have a beauty budget, I probably would have ordered this. The shipping costs would come into play, God only knows. A lot of indie brands, especially smaller ones, their shipping costs are through the roof to Canada. It has nothing to do with the brand itself. It's just, it is what it is. It's the shipping rate and whoever the courier is that they use. But, oh, if I didn't have a beauty budget, I would definitely order this. I think it's gorgeous. I'm changing my mind. I don't think I'm going to buy it, but like I'm going to want to. I'm going to pine after it. No pun intended. Or maybe just a little. All right, we've just talked indie brand. Let's talk luxury brand, specifically Armani. So they have come out with their Fluid Sheer Glow Enhancer Highlighter for $44 US, as well as the Luminous Silk Glow Setting Powder for $64. The setting powder comes in, let me see, how many shades here? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 different shades, which frankly I think is quite impressive. And then the highlighter, not only are there highlighting shades, but there also appear to be 2 blush shades. If those had been on the Canadian Sephora website, 100% I would have bought that peach one. 100%. I hopped on over to Sephora as quickly as I possibly could once I saw this post, and they did not have the blush shades available. Only the 3 bottom shades that you see there. The setting powder, I don't get all that excited about setting powders, to be honest, but I did just recently order the new powder from Dior. It hasn't arrived yet, but it is on its way to me, so I really don't have the need for purchasing yet another setting powder because they do take so long to get through. So those ones don't really do it for me. I love the idea of 10 different shades. I think that's fantastic, but it's just nothing that I need. But that blush, yes please. Yes. Sigma has recently released their On The Go collection, which includes 6 9-pan palettes. Each of them have a mix of matte, shimmer, and metallic finishes, and they also include duochrome finishes, which gets my ears perking up just a little bit. These retail for $29 each, or you can buy all 6 for $139. I am very tempted by a couple of these palettes. In specific, the one in the top middle and the one to the right of it. Those are my kind of shades. I think they're really, really pretty. You know what? Even the one on the bottom right, as neutral as it is, that looks like the kind of palette that I would wear the hell out of Monday to Friday as I'm getting ready for work. I think they look really, really pretty. I've never used any eyeshadows from Sigma. I am very curious about them. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. The shipping from Sigma often tends to be very high to Canada, so I might hop over to Beauty Bay and see what's going on over there. I don't have like a burning need for these, but I'm curious enough and I like the color stories enough that I could see myself picking up at least one of them. Time will tell. All right, now let's talk about the palette that's coming out from Hindash. This is the Beautopsy palette. I had put up a community post a little while ago asking whether you guys were interested in a review, and frankly, I have to thank you guys. You guys are adorable. You were like, I'm interested in reviews from you, but I'm not interested in this palette. You guys are so sweet. Like, you make my heart so happy. I just want you to know that. Ultimately, I don't think I'm going to be buying this. I think it's a really cool concept. So if you're not familiar with it, it's a 6-pan palette, but each pan is a gradient of shades. So really, it's sort of an unlimited number of shades that are available in here. It really just depends on where in that gradient you hit and mixing them all and all of that kind of thing. But it's a really interesting idea. If you look at this one picture here, all of these shades are taken from one pan. So this is an incredibly versatile palette, but honestly, I don't think that I have the skill set to really maximize the use out of this palette and really tap into what it's meant to do and how it's meant to be used. So I'm not upset with this palette, like, at all. I think it makes absolute sense. It's coming from somebody who has a history in art and then translated into the makeup artistry side of things. So this is completely on brand, and I think it's such an innovative and thoughtful product. Like, I think it just makes sense that Hindash is the one who released this, but I don't think it's something that I am going to have a lot of fun with. Like, I don't think it's something that I'm going to really be able to use in the way in which it's designed to be used. and it frankly just kind of stresses me out. So while I think it's a brilliant concept, it's beyond where my comfort zone is, and I just don't think I'm going to be picking this one up. So now we are hitting the portion of the ranking where I talk about items that I am actually very much interested in. This next one that we're about to talk about, unfortunately, I just don't see myself getting my hands on, again, because it's coming to Ulta and I can't order from Ulta, but these are the new Marblous lip balms from Winky Lux. I honestly just think they look so beautiful. Something about that marbling just gets me. I think they're absolutely gorgeous. It's probably the kind of design element that the more you use, the less aesthetically appealing it ends up being, because it's probably all just kind of blurred together, but upon initial opening of it, I'm going to be very happy. I think it's beautiful. I do not need another lip balm, I can tell you that straight out of the gate, but a lip balm that looks like this, I'm going to take notice of. I have used some items from Winky Lux in the past. It's been a long time since I have, but I've never had any problems with their products. They haven't like knocked my socks off, but nor are they ones that I'm like, ugh, get away from me, I never want to use you again. You know? They're just kind of like, they're there. They're usable, they're fine. Nobody's going to write letters about them. There it is. But I think these look really, really pretty. They are $18 each. There are 3 shades available, a peachy pink, a natural pink, and a cool toned baby pink. And again, they're available now at Ulta. So all of you Americans who can shop at Ulta, I'm highly jealous, but it is what it is. Next is a sneak peek from Makeup Geek, and this looks very much like they're coming back with their eyeliner pencils. And if that is the case, I am 100% down for that. They had eyeliner pencils a couple of years ago. Probably more than a couple, to be honest. Like I'm thinking maybe 4 to 5 years ago, and I've still got 2 of them. So I love these pencils. I still use the brown one all the time. They have lasted for damned ever. Don't get as much use out of the minty one, but this brown one's fantastic. The packaging in this picture looks very reminiscent of these original liners, so I am very, very curious, and I'm definitely looking forward to hearing as to whether or not these are pencil liners. There's a possibility they might be liquid liners, but honestly, I'm really hoping she comes back with the pencil ones. I definitely have my eye on this, and I am very much interested. And now we have reached the top 2. So coming in second place are blushes from Moira Cosmetics. This is a brand that I've not heard of before, but these blushes, as soon as I saw this picture on Trendmood, I hopped immediately over to the Moira Cosmetics website because that orange one at the top is screaming my name. I want it so damn badly. These blushes retail for $9 US, and translated to Canadian it was $14 for me in order to purchase one. Unfortunately, the shipping was $25, and I just can't justify that kind of shipping cost. I truly can't. I cannot pay almost double the amount of the product in shipping. I just can't do it. So as much as I think these are beautiful, and as much as that orange blush is just like screaming my name, I want it so badly, I just can't bring myself to do it. But I think these are stunning. Everything from the ombre to the packaging to the imprint on the powder itself, I think they're so incredibly beautiful. What is the information on here? It says that it's a lightweight, silky formula that easily blends, delivering high pigment payoff. Compact-sized floral dream of peachy tones for a natural-looking hue to your complexion. Swirl the shades together for the best complementary blend of color to your cheeks. I love them. I absolutely love everything that's going on with these blushes. I think they are just chef's kiss perfection, just beautiful. If you are in the US and you are in the market for a new blush, please buy one and let me know that you have so that I can live vicariously through you, because these, they deserve to go to all the good homes. They deserve to have people fawn over them every day. I would absolutely do that. Like, I would tuck it in at night and just tell it how beautiful it is, but I just can't get past the shipping cost. So that is the only thing holding me back from this. And I have to move on to the next item because the more I look at this, the weaker my resolve is getting. So let's move on to the last item, and this is one that I have actually gone ahead and ordered, and these are the new cream blushes from Melt. So these are the cream Blushlights, which are now available on the Melt Cosmetics website. They retail for $22 each, or you can buy the complete bundle for $155. There are 8 shades available, and I picked up, what shades did I pick up? I picked up Honey Thief as well as Cali Dreams. So I have Honey Thief in the powder formula. I'm not huge on the powder formula from Melt. I find that it just really produces a ton of kick up, and I don't really enjoy using it, but I like the color of it. So I have high hopes for this. I am definitely on a cream blush kick. I recently filmed my cream blush collection, including all swatches and ranking. That is going to be coming soon. This one is going to not be included, obviously, because I just ordered it today, but oh, I'm so excited. Also, thank you, Melt, for offering free shipping, because it just makes my Canadian little heart happy. So I'm very stoked about these. I think they're beautiful. I love that they have some more matte options and then some that have more shimmer in them. The shimmer isn't really my cup of tea, but I know some people really do enjoy that. So I like that they've kind of mixed the 2 different finishes in there. I'm so excited, and I'll definitely be sharing my thoughts on these once they arrive. All right, so there you have it, guys. Those are the new releases for this week. I would love to hear from you in the comments below what some of your wish list items are. And again, I'd also like to hear from you on the Survivors palette and what your thoughts and reaction are to it. But with all that said, I'm going to wrap this video up here. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch, and I will see you in my next one. Until then, just be a decent human being. Bye for now.